Hi, this is Bits and Pieces, the official podcast of Component Supply. I'm Kristin.
And I'm Mark.
And today we are going to do part 2 of the podcast episode where we did more than an online store. So last time we talked about the many ways that Component Supply is a resource to researchers and product designers. It's more than just stocking components online and shipping same day. We have all these resources. We have blogs. We have, of course, have the podcast, which I hope if nothing else just helps you to get to know us a little bit better if we haven't gotten the chance to meet in person. We talk about the spec sheets that are available to you, our custom fab site, quote forms, all that good stuff. And we gave you a little website tour. So today we want to go more in depth with some of our capabilities. So Mark, I was thinking that maybe we should start with you just giving us maybe an overview of like what our shop looks like on a daily basis. We can go into like the nitty gritty, but like what does our shop look like for people who haven't been here or who don't know exactly what we do?
So the Component Supply shop focuses around tubing and wire products, metal tubing and wire. And so if you were just to walk through on any random day, you're going to find some sort of precision cutting, or some sort of precision grinding, or a taper grind, or some kind of tip grinding, lancet or trocar, something like that. You're going to see something being bent. You're going to see something being laser welded.
So like a combination of machines, kind of more automated equipment, and like very manual processes.
We have a lot of manual processes.
So what distinguishes? What's the difference? Why would we choose an automated process versus a manual process?
Sometimes quantity. If somebody wants, we're going to make 10 pieces. It's for prototype. It's really difficult to spool up a machine to make 10 pieces.
Right.
Where we have jobs that are running 150,000, 300,000 pieces a month. That you don't want to do that. Manually. Sometimes it's just the way there are processes in our industries that are still done manually.
Yeah.
And so equipment isn't efficient. For some things like informing, certain types of informing. So that's done manually. Bending, depending on, again, quantity. If you're talking about smaller quantities, even quantities up to 100, 250 pieces, something like that, depending on what it is, you may not want to make the fixtures or the equipment to do that in an automation. Something that's more automated, you may just make a fixture and bend those.
Especially
parts.
something that's like a one-off thing, a one-off job, which we get some of those.
Yeah, or it's something that has it's less than a couple thousand pieces a year. That application, it may not require making tooling and equipment to do.
Sometimes it makes it a little bit more cost effective even at those smaller quantities than having to program something. So what you don't see, and I want to talk about this first before we go into like the specifics. We can show you some stuff. We'll put some stuff on the screen about the capabilities. But what you don't, you open a box of Component Supply parts, and unfortunately, what you don't get is the like emotion and the culture behind our shop. We have added a lot of really great people over the past couple of years. Our shop is really well-rounded. Like no one in the shop just does one thing. It's impossible because of the kinds of jobs that we're getting. Everyone is sending us something that's a little bit different from what we did before. So they're all very willing to try, very willing to learn and be trained in things that are outside of maybe what they thought their initial scope was when they came to Component Supply, because we pivot fast when a need arises. We've got a huge age range in our shop. We've got a lot of really young, excited guys. Some of them are studying at tech, studying engineering, studying whatever, and work here a lot while they're balancing their studies. Super impressive. But they are not just like making parts or running something through an assembly line. They are figuring, they are tinkering, they are building tools. And so we talk about a lot when we're having individual conversations with you all. You'll say, like, we'll say at our heart, we're tool makers. And I think that you see that in this younger generation that's coming up, but you also see it in our seasoned, employees. And they still share, I think, that same excitement, that same desire for perfection. It just spreads. It doesn't matter.
There's a passion in our shop for seeing the next generation know how to further this. There's the idea for the older person, which I'm now in this category that's sort of thinking the next group of designers and that are going to be developing devices are going to be devices that are used on me. I sort of would like them to do a better, I'd rather them do a better job than I'm doing today.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
We spend a lot of time cultivating that and giving them the responsibility. But even the older, somebody who's worked for us for I don't know, 10 or 15 years, there's still a passion of saying, hey, we want to test your boundaries.
Yeah.
Like go test your boundaries.
Yep.
Learn something new.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of like just going through the motions. I feel like the people that are here want to be here. They believe in what we're doing. They buy into all the Wednesdays at 8 and all the training and all the events, and just really they're not just here to do a job and go home. They really believe in the work that they're doing.
Culturally throughout our company, there is this idea of train people so they'll leave you, treat them so you don't. That's not our quote.
Treat them so they stay. Yeah.
And that exists in all of our departments, including our production shop. And you talk about opening a bag and kind of what you don't see. Mm-hmm. I'm going to date myself a little bit, but there were these commercials that were on television. Mm-hmm.
Television. It's TV. It's TV.
But back when it was television and there were commercials because you had 6 channels, Folgers always had these commercials where it was like, it was always around Christmas and you've got the mom sitting there and she's made her little cup of coffee and she opens the Folgers things and smells it and she's sitting and then like her son comes from college and surprises her
from the
Christmas.
Military, yeah.
And our shop feels like when they open a bag of parts, that's the experience our customers have. It's like a Folgers. It's like opening the bag and it brings back all the glorious Christmas moments. We in our minds we believe like we've made these parts, we've sent them to our customer, and like they open it, it's like
the best part of waking
up is component supply. No, and I know that's not real, but we actually. Like that's how they approach it. When
component supply is a little bit like fantasy, romantic, fictional maybe.
but that is they approach our shop approaches jobs that way. When they make it, there is a lot of they look at it at any point and say, is there a better way to do this? Mm-hmm. Why would we make it this way? Should I make something extra? And it's kind of like, hey, stop going rogue. They wanted us to make this, like stay in your lane, bro. Yeah. But at the same time, that passion exists there, and so I feel like that's the way. I tell everybody in the shop, hey, listen, when they open it, it is like the Folgers commercial. You could feel that way.
No, I love that, and I think maybe for some of you it is. If you have an experience like that, when you open a component supply box, please video yourself opening your components and make sure you capture that magic. But I think the reason we feel like that is because we do, maybe not everything goes into the most life-changing device, but we know that we've been a part of projects that has been the case. And so I think, you don't know. We talk all the time. We don't know where everything's going. But we've seen enough to know that it could be going to something life-changing. So because we don't know, we put the same effort, attention to detail, care into every box that goes out. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of custom fab. We have, in the past years, I've seen new equipment hit the floor. We've been moving shelves, moving to try and make the best use of our space. A lot going on, lots of not just increased capacity, but also just new capabilities, and more efficient ways of process. So much training. I mean, truly, the shop has worked really hard. I'm super proud. So we've got this is my box of random stuff. So if you ever need something random, let me know. I probably have it in this box. Let's start with hypodermic tubing. Hypodermic tubing, you look on the website, that's like the first product category that you see. You've got several different wall thicknesses of components. And of course, you buy off the shelf, you buy a 30-inch or 60-inch piece of hypodermic tubing. We also have those really small cut pieces. I know, I wasn't going to forget. Okay. We also have the really small cut pieces. The point is that not everyone, or perhaps most people, don't need a 60-inch or even like the 10-foot piece that comes of hypodermic tubing. You're going to do something to it. So Our goal with fabrication is to make sure that our customers are getting to focus on what they do well, which is making a finished device or even like an assembly, a more complex assembly than what we supply. You don't have to worry about cutting tubing. Let us cut the tubing. We're good at it. We're really fast. It's easy. So we've got, just kind of a standard. I don't even know if I have a standard cut. We're so fancy. This is just a tube, right? It's just cut to some length, but we cut, talking about manual processes, sometimes people are requesting stuff that's so short. There's not a great mechanism for doing that. So it can be a manual process job, but it comes, burr-free, precision cut, tight tolerances. Depending on the length, a short piece would be like a 5/1000 is a standard tolerance, but whatever you throw out there, we're going to try and hit a tolerance. So that's kind of the basis.
Careful. People can dream up some crazy stuff.
I say, let's just say yes and figure it out later. So hypodermic tubing, and really for the stainless steel wire too. Okay, this is bar, right? This is not wire. This is a big one. So we have like the hypodermic tubing and the wire, right? Like the first step really in any precision capability, if you're asking us for any capability, it's going to start with cutting. There's some precision length that you want done. Okay, so step one is the cutting. The sky's the limit on volume. I think a lot of people, and we serve R&D, love R&D. We're never going to compromise R&D for production. We're just going to build capacity, right? We're going to serve both and serve both well, but we're never going to sacrifice R&D. But precision cutting, sky's the limit on volume. We're growing that capacity. That's not a big deal. So don't be alarmed when you start to scale and you're using component supply. We'll scale with you. It's not a big deal. Don't think twice about it. So oftentimes with the hypodermic tubing, we're cutting to length. Yes. And then what comes after, right? So a lot of times you'll need some sort of tip performed or a bend. So we've got examples of this. I'm going to throw them on the screen because you probably can't see this. I'll throw up some different examples of this. A lot of times these things are going to be used for some kind of a needle assembly, right? So we're essentially custom fabricating a cannula, and it's going to be welded into some kind of stainless steel hub, or it's going to be glued into some kind of propylene hub, right? So this you can't even see, but this is a beveled tip on this dispensing needle, right? So hypodermic tubing, sometimes people are just like, I want needle tubing, or I want a cannula, or I want a needle. And sometimes anytime they're saying that, they're not always considering the hub. So I just want to let you know that the hub is an option for you here at Component Supply if it's a needle assembly that you need. We do the custom bending. We do some port drilling there. Tell me some more. What am I missing?
We close the end, so we can close the end. There is grinding. So a lot of times you have an ID and you want a custom outside diameter. We will kind of grit blast. So some of these have some abrasion on an abrasive process if it's going to be over molded or if it needs to show up,
like a marker.
Right. There's, some of the standards, some of those other services will passivate it if it's needed. Electropolishing portions of it, especially if it was ground. Yeah. Those kinds of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we kind of move into the wire space. That's again the second product category on the website. So any of those sizes that you see on the website, just a reminder, those are all available for custom fabrication. We keep those in stock, yes, to ship same day if you're going to do your processes in house. But again, we want you to focus on your key capabilities, your key focuses, and so we're happy to provide these additional services. So for wire, we have just the stainless steel wire, and we can bend it into really any configuration. I say that. You hate when I say any configuration because sometimes you guys, you will spec out every single thing and just find what's critical and spec that. That's the most important thing. And we have a few different coating options if I can reach on my samples. So we have a glide med coated. We have PTFE coating, which is the green. Right now.
It's too slippery, I can't do that.
It's so lubricious.
Nope, I dropped it.
Yep, that's okay. So a lot of times with a mandrel that's coated, a lot of the request is that you want some sort of the coating removed from some specified length, or you want some radius end. Mm-hmm. You want it to be smooth because it's being used as a mandrel. So you don't want to snag any of the material that's going over it. So those are common, just 304, 316 as well. And of course, nitinol. I think I have a nitinol piece in here. We dabble. We dabble with shape setting. Don't get excited about it. We have friends in high places that are really good at shape setting. But if you need a couple just to test with, we're happy to help you prototype with that. We have the nitinol in stock. This is one of our little test pieces for shape setting. If you see the picture of nitinol on the website is this end, but it'll come in a straight length standardly. If you need a shape, obviously it has to be set. Mm-hmm. I love a tapered mandrel. I get too excited about this because it's we're getting more and more requests for it, and we're saying yes so much, and it makes me so happy. So this is, I don't know what diameter this is, but you can, if you're looking at this, you can probably see me hold the bottom, but you probably lose the top. So just really precise. We have a great podcast that just launched probably last week or a couple weeks ago with Damian Carr, and he kind of talks with us about some of the challenges that we had kind of at first evaluating designs of mandrels, and he talks about some of the challenges, some of the poor design mechanisms, and how to overcome some of those challenges. So you could check out that podcast to get more details on the tapers, but that's something that we're really enjoying doing. We have some really great quick turn options for tapers where you're not confined to high minimum. Tell us more about mandrels, tapers, steps.
Like the quantities?
I don't know. Something that would be helpful.
Something that would be helpful? Helpful for us, longer transitions.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I think that's important.
This is, obviously the industry has used this between, transitioning through either a taper or a step. And so we made a pretty big commitment from the training and equipment side. Mm-hmm. One, from the manual side, we started off saying, "Hey, I want to understand this process and understand what it takes." So this is going back years and years ago. Mm-hmm. This is not new. This has been, this process has been around a long time. But we as a group, we decided it was important to know the fundamentals. Component Supply's never been a group of button pushers. And I think there's a place for that, but this is not the place. We have people relying on us to come up with something new, which means when it doesn't work, we need to understand why. Mm-hmm. And so we have the equipment that is fully automated, but we spend a lot of time in the manual side and building fixtures and toolings in order to accomplish this and understand it. We wanted to be experts in transitions with wire. Mm-hmm. So for us, we spent the last probably year on capacity more than anything. Yeah. And quick turn capacity as well. Not just capacity. We've got capacity for production, but the ability to produce prototypes quickly. Yeah,
there are times it's pretty unusual that we get a lead time too long feedback. Like we take every feedback, every lost opportunity, we take feedback in. We were gonna turn around this taper job in 5 days or something. Like it was super fast, and they're not fast enough. So we're always trying to figure out ways to get to the faster. Can we ship you a partial? Are you really just looking for a prototype? And we've quoted you kind of a higher volume than what you actually needed tomorrow. So yeah, but I do love the shop's dedication to understanding the whole process, not just I'm going to press this button for this size, but they know how everything works. And I think when they do encounter a challenge, they're so independent to fix it on their own, which is fantastic.
The other thing it does is when somebody needs 5 pieces and they need it tomorrow, and we've got our equipment set up, and it's running a job. Mm-hmm. There is someone who's qualified and trained to go, make a template, walk over to a grinder, put the profile in, run the 5 pieces for that. Yeah. Had we not invested in that time, we wouldn't even have that flexibility for those purposes.
Yeah, I think a lot of investments that we've made over the years have really paid off for some of these quick turn capabilities. Mm-hmm. So we invested in the material, right? So having millions of feet of tubing and wire on your shelf means that you can just pick something off and make a few pieces. Mm-hmm. Having people that can do a manual version of the automated capability, that's amazing. You don't have to stop your line, stop your production on any of the machines that are running to do this job, but you can still service the R&D customer. So that's exciting.
And then beyond that, we've got, and you've seen this in the industry where you will run a job and then eventually the customer decides, you know what, this is an important enough job and I'm going to bring it in-house. And they're running the same equipment we are.
Yeah.
And so kind of the flip side to the distribution is that we recognize that. Was one of the other reasons the commitment on the material was we said, okay, that's okay. Like we don't need to, you can make it and we'll continue to provide the material in volume. But we also have people that have been doing it, so we can share kind of the challenges we've had in the initial setup and tooling and whatever, and make that process faster.
Yeah, and sometimes they bring it in-house, and some of you have experienced this. You bring it in-house, but something in the your capacity or your demand shifts, and you still need a secondary supplier, so we service that. So we're going to supply you the stock raw material of hypodermic tubing or wire that you need. You're going to keep it. You're going to make it in-house. Your demand's going to increase. Your production schedule is going to get thrown off a little bit, and you can call component supply, and we'll pick you right back up. And we've got your processes in place already to walk alongside you. So yeah, I love that you don't, just because you've added capacity or you've added the capability in house because you want to keep that close, and that's important. I think a lot of jobs get to that point. You still have a partner in component supply willing to sell you the raw material, provide the certifications that you need for that, and then assist you when you need. We're not going to be mad at you for coming back to help you out. It's a partnership that we want to have with all of our customers. Come back when you need it. When something changes in the scope, we want to be a part of that story too. So that's hypodermic tubing and wire at a high level. I just want to run through just really quickly some of the other capabilities that we have for the materials that people are buying all the time. So we have like just normal polymer tubing, right? We have microbore tubing and like silicone tubing and PVC, all these different kinds. And for that, primarily, we're just here to do precision cutting for you. Like we'll ship it in a coil or a spool, right? PTFE extruded tubing, but we can also do precision cutting of that very quick turn as well.
Shrink tubing
as well.
Cut components, cut parts of string tubing.
Yeah, you already want it cut to the length of your, the mandrel that you're making or whatever. And then we talked a little bit about the custom needles with hypodermic tubing. It's a separate category online for needles. We have some semi-custom needles on there that we make in-house. We have just stocked needles. But then, of course, any length, any tip grind, metal, polypropylene hubs, those are all available to you. We have the mesh for those of you who are creating some kind of a filtering system. We have the polyester and the nylon mesh products and those custom discs, custom shapes for your filter. We can do that. We do some special ordering of some custom configurations, like some special bags and things. We're not making a lot of bags in-house typically, but we've got some strong partnerships to contract manufacture that out for you. What am I missing?
We have some hole drilling.
For like tubing.
For tubing.
For the metals.
The welding, I mean, we talked about it. And the welding is anything from hubs, but also just custom configurations.
Yeah, specialty fitting of some kind.
Right. And then the welding is beyond the hubs too. This is difficult to see, but you can maybe show them.
Oh, yeah.
This is at
a trade show. We have to put the plastic on it so people don't stab themselves. Super sharp, teeny tiny port.
But it's in a custom hub, so the hub's been, or I don't know if it's a hub, but just some fitting. It's been welded into a custom fitting, and then there is the assemblies side. So we don't do a lot of this, but rather than supplying just simply a bent wire, this is they want a finished. A finished assembly. And so, that our team sits up and makes these assemblies as well. Yeah,
we work with some, customer supplied material. That happens sometimes. You're using an alloy maybe that we don't supply or something, so we can talk with you through that. But that's part two of more than an online store. It's not just the online store, right? It's not just in-stock components that ship the same day. That's great. We love that. But like I said in the previous episode, we want that to be a part of the story. We want that to be part of your journey with component supply. What else do you need? You don't need a standard length. You need something special. We want you to be able to focus on what you do do best and let us focus on precision cutting, bending, grinding, those kinds of things that maybe perhaps slow your process down, especially in the beginning when it's small volume. Happy to grow with you as you grow. Happy to support your stock materials as you bring things in-house. So those are just some of the ways that we support you from the beginning, but all the way to the end. We have, I have this kit that just reminds me to remind you that we have these kits for these materials too. So they're not really a fabricated part. They are kind of a custom kit we put together for hypodermic tubing, stainless steel wire. We've got a nitinol one coming out here. We've got needles and mesh. So just when you aren't sure what you want to do, maybe you want to test your hand at some of the fabrication with various sizes. A kit's a great way to start. I'll link those in the description of this podcast episode. But yeah, we're trying to do everything we can to make sure you have the components you need to change the world and not have to wait for long lead times or these high minimums that we're seeing across the board. We try and make everything attainable for you from the beginning stages. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, other than we have a team full of people that are excited to get to work on their projects as they change the world.
They are. They're a great team. If you're ever in Middle Tennessee, come and give us a visit, and we'll let you meet some of the team on the shop floor. They're amazing, and we're just so thankful that we get the opportunity to do this and work with you guys every day. So let's go change the world.